Yeah, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. We're at number 15. Oh, it's Fortnight Collective. I'm gonna mute. I can't mute Daniel, can I? I can mute him.
You can.
Did I? I did mute him.
Yes, you did.
All right. Hey there, Fortnight Collective again. Yes, it is good to be back.
On some tin cans. I think you sold 15 tin cans in this room.
Right? Oh my God. So great. Oh, so much. Now listen, like Fortnite and Foulmouth, like that deserves a mashup. Find something to work on together. You guys would absolutely love working with each other. So let's look at some of your lovely stuff. Hold on, here we go.
There's some magic in the hills of Idaho. If you've never ever been, you'll have to go. There's no lines and no bad attitudes. And up on Baldy, there's a mighty awesome view. Ski on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Ski on the sunny side of life. It'll help you lift your day, it'll help you carve your way. If you ski on the sunny side of life.
I love this. So, you know, a somewhat similar in the similar milieu as Steamboat, which we talked about yesterday. It's excellent. And I love the design on this because it is modern. But remember, I'm a kid of the 70s. And so this gives me like really good, like positive 70s vibes. It's excellent stuff. Talk about the brief a little bit.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for hosting and having us again. I'm Matt Cubis. I'm a creative director and head of design over here. The brief here, you know, like you mentioned, we do work on a lot of, you know, we're out in Colorado, working on a lot of ski resorts. And a huge part of those projects is kind of like really trying to like, you know, pin down and put your finger on what is truly special about these individual mountains and being able to, you know, really clearly articulate that kind of aesthetic and that vibe and that feeling. Mm-hmm. Sun Valley is in a really interesting place because it's kind of far from the big, you know, the big resorts of Colorado.
Right.
Off the path, both in kind of like vicinity and in spirit. It doesn't have like the huge giant lines that are typical of, you know, larger resorts. There's not crowds that you have to dodge and ski through and things like that. And there's not that like kind of sense of like bougie entitlement or like it's more of a scene than a place, you know, a ski mountain. It's special in that it's like far off, you know, it's far away from that, but it feels like a little place a little bit out of time, which is where a lot of this kind of like dreamy vintage vibe comes from. It doesn't have the baggage of those big mountains, and instead it's got like, you know, 250 days of pure sun and skiing. So this campaign, yeah, it's really trying to nail down the skiing on the sunny side is like a mentality shift, away from kind of the headaches of the big mountains and trying to get back into that time period where, you know, these mountains are kind of like, you know, empty, full of beautiful snow, full of beautiful sunshine, and you could just get back to that kind of like pure vibe of skiing.
If you think about it, by the time you get to Sun Valley, you'll have done your first run at Vail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Daniel, we got you for a little bit longer. So your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I mean, everything, sorry, I didn't catch your name, but the creative director that was just speaking, I mean, everything you described in terms of what you were looking to achieve is exactly kind of how I was perceiving it, if you will, before you explained it. So I just love that this brings to life the concept and this being a little bit of an antidote to the Vales and the Aspen. So I just think it's really simpatico. It kind of makes you want to, I don't even ski, and it makes me want to ski. And I've seen a lot of sort of skiing campaigns out there that don't necessarily speak to me, but I think this can actually be good for kind of, you know, also recruiting like lap skiers or people who are not sure. Mm-hmm. There's just something really inviting and welcoming.
Yeah, and think about also,
and the line is great, right? I know this.
Yeah.
Conversation.
Yeah. No, the line's great. And the other thing too is Daniel clearly did not get upgraded. But the other thing too is if you're somebody that wants to work at a resort, like there's just such positive vibes in all of this. And the truth of the matter is that Idaho gets a ton of sun like this. So they get dumped on, but it is legitimately super, super sunny. Yep. Daniel, last thoughts before you go, because I know you got to get in there so you can get your bag of peanuts.
No, listen, this is great. I just thought, I wish I could be here for the whole time. I'm excited to get out of Miami, but I really would have liked to be in here for another 45 minutes. So
we're going to workshop that as a concept off Broadway. Excited to get out of Miami.
Yes. So I am going to have to bail, but just again, like I said, it's not just the work that I find inspiring. It's just meeting people that are doing interesting things and marching to the beat of their own drums. So thank you for sort of indulging me. Doug, thanks for bringing me back into this today, and I'll circle back with you tomorrow at some point.
All right. Sounds good. Have a great flight. Have a great flight.
Well, he is leaving. I will give my 2 cents on this. I absolutely love this because it reminds me of how skiing used to be in the late 70s, early 80s in California. This has that vibe to it, but it's totally updated. It just the typeface, everything like that says like, bold 70s mountain, but it also says, hey, this is exactly who we are now, and let's take you back to a time, but it's now. There's nostalgia and modernity. Both modernity, yes. Right. Yeah, the same thing. And I love the fact that I love the typeface. It hits me on all the right places.
Modernity.
Hey.
You're never gonna live that shit down.
Oh, come on, man.
Modernity.
Listen.
I know
the people at Fortnite will back me up on that. They know I have my modernity to me.
All right, listen, I'm gonna bail you out. Fortnite. Again, you work in this space a lot, but any project that you do, there's always something to learn. What did you learn working on this particular campaign? And what do you learn in working with, because you have Steamboat, you have Sun Valley, you have that variety. And what do you learn that informs, like, okay, here's how we get better. Here's how we get better. Here's how we get better.
Yeah, well, I guess the first thing, I learned how to ski in deep snow a little bit better than I knew how to before. So that was one thing necessary for the task. But like I said at the beginning, it's really like trying to, like, a lot of these mountains from afar, from a glance, like product, on a product level, they're similar. You know what I mean? There's not a lot that separates it. It's really like more of a feeling and an aesthetic and like a vibe. So like really trying to like parse that out, articulate that on paper, and articulate that in like a sense of an aesthetic sense it's a lot of times it's a fine line to walk, but it starts to come across. You mentioned the steamboat work, and a lot of these mountains, they're not like hugely dissimilar, on paper, but like in the sense that you have when you're there, they're miles apart,
Yeah.
So like being able to try to
personality from each one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you go to them and you kind of hone in on the personality that each one brings to life when you're there, and then trying to make that executed in the work.
Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Lizzie. I'm an art director.
Just want to make sure you get your props, Yeah. And I love that we got nerdy here. There was a Kerning reference. There was a Kerning reference. I love it. All right. Congratulations again. You are free to stay. You are free to go. But as always, awesome stuff. I actually, if you're down for this, if you wouldn't mind sending me a poster, because this is frameable quality.
Oh, heck yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So, get it on your wall for sure.
I would absolutely do that. All right. Congratulations. Really, really well done.